Hello, welcome to my first flip through video of my bullet journal for the year 2020. I'm Yanza, but a lot of people call me by my middle name Yafanir as well. So excited to be sharing it with the community. I ordered my first one through Archer and Olive at the end of 2019 and loved this experience. I got this navy blue one with a Big Dipper, which is my favorite constellation. Overall, I was super impressed with the amount of mediums it could use. You can see how the journal has bulked up a bit and a bit wrinkly from all the watercoloring I used, but the pages held up super well, as you will see. So the front and back have sticky notes I used to plan out some pages, and then my name in the front. Many of the pages are inspired by Bujo gurus like YouTube AmandaRachLee, Shayda Campbell, Plant-Based Bride. I have my key and grid spacing pages here in the front. Many of the pages are imitation of spreads I like and I found on Pinterest. Shayda was a heavy influence in the setup. I like how I left it as green and gold. I find sometimes I do not have a knack for color palettes whatsoever. The theme of the year for me was God's plan, and each bunch represents an aspect of the days of creation. This is a spread where I put verses and definitions that resonated with me for the year, that I have read or come across, like when Jacob was renamed Israel after wrestling with God. I loved how his name means he struggled with God. When I was younger, I often misconceived being a Christian as in the perfect relationship with God where you do not question or struggle with him, but this to me goes to show how that is so totally okay, and in fact God encourages us to think and ask questions. Anyway, this is the future log or the color palette I did not like. You wouldn't let me lose some. This was an idea from AmandaRachLee, the sum of the year in Polaroids. I really liked it. I have to put December in still. And this is a reading guide. I really didn't read too much books other than the books of the Bible, but that counts, right? I have my period tracker here. And then I have the ideal semester for my undergrad that I scheduled out here. And then the next four are the theme colors that I used for the next 4 months of my undergrad. I made some fun pages of my roommate and my mini group from my acrobatics team. On the next page, here's my cover theme for January. Day 1 of creation was when God separated the darkness from light, so it'll be mostly black and white. I like this monthly spread for January to put more information in, and the simplicity of it, especially the mood tracker. These 2 pages were nice. The weekly spread was a meh for me. I have some simple prayer request pages and tried to do a meal prep plan to inspire me, but lol, it was rusties. Some worship and notes from worship speakers. I went to the one in January. It was amazing. So crazy to think it was the last one for a long time. I have some notes from the child I got to sponsor from the one conference. I think I went a little overboard with January, but here are some philosophical sentences to ponder on. I love this spread. I saw it on Pinterest and it took a while to recreate, but totally worth it. Might redo it. I really liked this weekly spread. It was simple, but it got my words out. Another prayer request spread. I really like this quote. We hear it said that prayer alters things. Prayer not so much alter things as alters the man who prays, by Oswald Chambers. I really felt distracted this week, and I liked how the focus was trying to take over in that spread. We're in February, day 2 of creation, where waters were separated, creating the sky and the ocean, so I focused on the blue and water aspect. I love how the mood turned out. Did the same spread for February. Oh yeah, this was not it. Didn't like how the Crayolas overlapped with the white on top. It didn't work out too well. I really liked March. The cover was really nice. The 3rd day of creation was God making lands and sea, so I focused on the mountainous aspect. Tried something different. This year being my first bullet journal was a lot of experimentation and seeing what I liked and trying new things. I tried out some new color pink markers, but they bled through, so it was too ugly and I covered it up. April's theme goes along with the 3rd day of creation, and God made vegetation on the land, and so I focused on the fruit concept. This was a fun one with lots of bright colors in here. I like how the watermelon turned out. I loved how this quote page turned out with the peaches. I blended some Crayola pens and it didn't bleed through because I blended that like no tomorrow. And then this pineapple quote on this next page was okay. These next spreads I didn't like as much. I wish I put more negative space and made the picture smaller. These next 4 pages just run through the highlights of my 4-year undergrad at Birmingham University. I fully enjoyed my experience at Birmingham, the good and the bad. So many opportunities and lifelong friends I made there. These books on the bottom remind me of how crazy my second year was academic-wise. It was kind of wild. Pushed my limits to the max and took 8 classes. Don't do it. My junior year, I would have to say, was the best year, while the last normal year before Rona came to town. But I had a relatively more balanced life, made more friends. Well, they turned me into a night owl that year, and the next I probably spent the most time in the science building. I usually studied alone in my room, but the company was nice. Another highlight was my acrobatics team went to New York, and I got to see my beloved Hamilton the music in person in New York. How many fans out there cry with me? 2020 was my grad year. I bought my first car with my own money. Let me tell you, that is the most satisfying adulting I've ever done so far. And this was a spread inspired by Shayda Campbell. And then the mood track wasn't the best. I think the colors were too similar for me. Made another variation of the third day of creation with a focus on flowers. I tried my first Dutch door for this weekly spread. I liked how it turned out, but I think it uses too much paper, so I would recommend using it for a more busy week. My friend Shia gave me this flower. Isn't it so cute? I like the following spread on this page, but the quote down below is not my favorite at all whatsoever. I love how this turned out. I followed a 2-spread tutorial from Shayda Campbell to finish off May. I want to take this time and re-emphasize that Black Lives Matter. As you go through June, I gathered and wrote down resources I could go back to continue to educate myself and learn and support the Black community, and not only the Black community but Indigenous communities. As you see through my flip through, this month's theme was plants, and it's still a part of the day 3 in the creation. As well as July, still day 3. I went with diamonds, and those are found in the earth. Did not like how this July spread turned out. It was too congested and the color palette was off. However, as we go on, I really liked this 2-weekly spread and how it turned out with the simplicity of it. A fun highlight was sticky notes like confetti. Finally moving on from day 3 of creation. August, I was a little gung-ho on the watercolors, and I was very impressed how it mostly didn't leak through. August's theme is the 4th day of creation and how God filled the sky with lights of the day and night, so I decided to go for a galaxy theme. I really like how the habit tracker turned out. The mood tracker, not so much, but just going with it. August is my birthday month, and also it is my Jordan year, so I ripped out some pages from my blackout journal and stuck it in the following pages. I liked how the black and white pages turned out together with the white pen and black ink. I have a Michael Jordan quote here that I like and I want to relate to. I have failed over and over and over and over again. That is why I succeed. For all y'all who have seen Space Jam, it's that guy with the green hat, but I substituted myself in it. But it looks kind of creepy. This was a cool concept in my head though. September is to commemorate the 5th day of creation, where God filled the ocean with animals, and so I went with under the sea vibe. I love how the spread turned out. Messed up here by the nose, but decided to turn it into happy accident, as Bob Ross would say. And then this page was not as good with the watercolors. I didn't really like the spread. So I watched Avatar The Last Airbender for the first time this year and loved it. It was so good. And so it's a cross between the fifth day of creation where God filled the sky as well. But disclaimer, there certainly were no air bisons. Anyway, I love Appa and Momo's. They're so cute. I tried to go with sunset colors here in the mood tracker, but it had more of a retro vibe, which I liked too. I fell off bullet journaling for a while, so there's nothing really other than birthdays. Oh, I'm really proud of how Momo turned out. I mixed the colors so well. Some cute baby air bisons. Julianne Doodles was inspiration. I thought these episodes are so funny with Momo and Appa talking. November wasn't my favorite, but I liked the cover and the blue colors. I also wrote down this prayer I saw in the Bible app, and I really liked the Dutch door cover, but the mood tracker to me was not it. November was also hybrid for the 5th and 6th day of creation with animals. I really liked how December turned out. The theme was to match the 6th day of creation where God created humans, but I included a twist of the New Jerusalem to include all humans. Got all these inspirations from Pinterest. I really liked how the weekly spreads turned out. The monthly spreads got shorter because I was running out of space after taking so much in January. I decided to end the year simply with a reminder that you are enough. We've all gone through so much, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And then these back pages were my experiments, and this is where my Supreme sticker I got as a gift goes, until I find a more permanent spot for it. Again, thank you so much for watching. I love the bullet journaling and hope to continue. I'm so excited to post my next video. Bye!